Hey guys, so we know earlier today Foodie went live and said that her and Salah are splitting up. I tried to do a live stream, did not go that well. I think we're gonna have to wait till next weekend to try, because I think I'm going to need to get an Ethernet cable and then a converter box for the Ethernet to hook up to my laptop. So we are waiting for payday for that, and then we will be all over it, and then we will be doing normal live streams. For those of you guys that stuck around with me for it, thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you for giving me feedback. It has helped so much. But what I wanted to talk about, there's been some updates in the situation with Foodie. So I want to talk about those updates for a minute, and then we're going to I'm going to try and cover as much as I can as the first live stream. She is currently live right now, so this might end up being a two-parter. Hopefully it doesn't take that long, but we are currently at around 4 hours of live streaming. So I think to give this the proper look that we need, um, we might need to do a couple of attempts at this just so we can get everything covered. The first thing that I wanted to talk about real fast is that Foodie is asking for people to donate money for her to get back to Canada. Um, and she is bribing everybody by saying, "Do you want my old content? Do you want us to go back to beezing like we used to, where we can live free?" Well, to do this, she has now um, set up a PayPal fundraiser. Oh, hold on. I'm trying to get it so we can see it really well here. Okay, so what this fundraiser says is, so I made a fundraiser. This was posted 4 hours ago. It's currently 5:11 p.m. my time. So it was posted about 1 p.m. my time. And it says, so I made a fundraiser on PayPal so you guys can see how much has been raised. I'm raising $10,000 until October 14th, 2025 for help me and Julia get home to Canada. Please, can you help? And then it says recap. Salah and I are separating, and I need help with starting over and moving home to Canada from Syria so we can bees harder and I can be myself again. If you can't help, no worries. I was only able to make the fundraiser 30 days, but if I cannot raise enough, I will have to stay here longer and try to save my money. Thanks in advance. I find this very interesting because it didn't click in my brain until after I had ended my live stream and I had started going about the rest of my day. It wasn't even 2 weeks ago that we had her on here throwing a fit, demanding that people send money for content. Okay, well, that didn't work. So now here we are. And she is again saying, I am leaving my husband. We're going to get back to regular beesing content. And by the way, I need you to fund it, which I find very ironic. So I thought we would scoot on over here to her fundraiser. And let me make sure that this is where you can see it. Okay, so it says, help me and Julia get home to Canada, please. So we go down, and Chantal's listed as the creator. That's a horrid picture, by the way. And it says, hi, my name is Chantal, aka Foodie Beauty, and I'm asking for support to go home to Canada from Syria as I'm going through a separation in my relationship. I need to start over and need first and last month's rent, a plane ticket home, and basic furniture and needs. Thank you so much. So right now we are sitting at $513 raised. So people are actively supporting this. And I did want us to look at some of these comments. Somebody donated $1 anonymously and said, here's $1, put it towards your acting lessons. You're way too cheerful for someone supposedly divorcing your loophole husband. Somebody offered $1 and said, hey, ALR might let you live with her if you can wipe her. It would make great content for two cons in a tent. Somebody donated $1 and said, bloating, grifting sow. Um, Somebody else commented and said, thanks for your number, Salah. Clown, somebody anonymously donated $300 to this. It says, I think, somebody else said, I think 5 or 6K is more realistic. Ask, but good luck. Somebody else said, this is a grift. She's lying again. PayPal will be notified. Absolutely disgusting. What a gross human being. Somebody else commented and said, at least you're not using a special needs child to grift this time. We have a woof woof. Nobody trusts you. You will raise some money and just keep it. You have grifted and lied too many times. So that's just some of the comments that we are getting. But I really wanted to pay attention. Where's it at? To this comment that says, I think 5 to 6,000 is more realistic ask, but good luck. So I also know that up until this point, like I said, 5:15 p.m. my time today, it is the 14th of September. She has gotten over $500 now in PayPal, but we have also received over $700 in super chats. I believe that PayPal works to the point to where she can't withdraw the money until she's reached either the full 29 days or until she has reached her goal. So if she continues getting 700, 600, super chats when she's going live, and then on top of it, we're trying to aim for this $10,000. If she hits the 10,000, we easily could be walking away with, $15,000 or more. So now that we've looked at this, I want to go over here. And my sister has spent a lot of her time doing international travels for different jobs that she has had. And so I asked her about how much it cost, how much money she needed to raise, all of that stuff, how much air travel generally was. And so I wanted to look at the travel here, and then we're going to discuss how much she's trying to raise exactly. So I have it set for 2 seats because technically that's what she needs. Since when she was flying from Canada to Syria, she had to fly into Istanbul. So I have it set to Istanbul to the closest airport that I could get to Cornwall. This is for 2 seats, like I said, and I have it flying out on September 30th, which is fairly close. This first one here is Air Canada only with 2 stops. It is a 28-hour flight, and it comes out to $1,427 a person, which would make the total of her 2 seats that she needs $2,854. And that is on an Eco Saver ticket. And then we have this one down here, and this is also Air Canada. It has 2 stops, 27 hours. This is $997 a person or per seat. So it would be $1,993. We have this one here that is operated by Malta Air. It's multiple airlines. 3 stops, 27 hours, $641 a person, which comes to $1,282 for that total on the flight. So that is what we have there. But I was asking my sister, because my sister has actually lived all over the world. And one of the things that she did, she lived in China for a while, and then she also lived in India. She was a drama and English teacher at an Indian boarding school. Now, for that trip, she raised $10,000. However, that $10,000, because what I put in was a one-way ticket for Foodie, that was for her ticket there and her return ticket. And the leftover money, because she was paid, her pay rate was based on Indian pay rates and not Western pay rates. So that $10,000 was for her to live on for a year. That was her food money. They told her because she was teaching at Indian school that she would probably need to have traditional dress made so that she could go to traditional weddings and stuff like that. So she got there and went in and had to have 5 different outfits made, and each one is about 20 yards because, it's saris and everything else that you have to wrap. Um, but that was her food money, clothing money, that was gas money. That also is what paid for her internet when she was there. Because you don't get internet like we do here. You have to buy the dongle and go and upload it with your internet every month. But that was what she lived on for a year, like an entire year. And then if we stop and think about it, Fuji was in Syria, and she had furniture. She had first and last month's rent. She had the full ability to set up everything that she needed. And she chose to throw it away because she just needed to be with this man so much. Which, considering she's saying that they have been having problems for over 3 years now, I find that a very weird and fascinating choice. Um, so I don't know what you guys think about that, and if you think the $10,000 that she's asking for is too much. I personally think it is. When when I had my first stroke and we realized we could no longer live off grid and we needed to, start looking at selling the property and finding a place in town, we moved into the first place that we could get a hold of, um, because we needed a place to set up home. And my husband gave me a budget because we were living in a 10 by 10 shed and we were moving into a full house. The kids were coming with us to live here, because they had stayed closer to town so they could still go to school and everything, while we got our property established. So we had no furniture. I furnished our entire house: dishes, bedding, couches, dining room tables, bookshelves, desks, everything. I did our entire house for $1,300. Now, some of it was a lot of work. I had to sand things down and repaint things. I thrifted a lot of our stuff. So it did take some effort. It took a lot of extra steps to get it done, but it can be done. So between the plane ticket and the furniture and all of that stuff, I personally feel like 10,000 is an awful lot of money. I may be wrong, um, but I don't know. I'm basing it all off of what I know living in Oklahoma, and not living in Canada or anything like that. So let me know what you guys think below. But I have sufficiently ran my mouth a lot. So we're gonna go ahead, if I can get this to where it's easier for you guys to see. We're gonna go over here and we're gonna start listening to Foodie again. I may cover some of the same stuff I covered earlier because my internet was buffering horribly. But we're gonna get through as much as we can. I'm probably gonna bop her up to like 1.5, or 2 times speed, just so that we're not sitting here for the full 2 hours and 15 minutes, or we'll get through what we can and then cover the rest, tomorrow with the other live stream. So let's go ahead and get in here and see what it is that she has to say about what's going on.
Welcome, Salam, Amanda, Nitty, Renee. I can't even read all your names, I'm sorry. So, the friggin' headache I cannot get rid of.
Me and you both, girl. Mine has been here since Saturday and is causing stroke-like symptoms and numbness across my body. It's great. I don't know if yours is that bad, but that's what mine's at.
No, it's not clickbait. It's gonna seem like impulsive and like out of the blue for you guys because I've really, really, really I tried so hard. Slow mode. I'll just let people. I'm kind of just like, I'm probably not even gonna look at the chat. Teardrop. I'm just gonna like say what I have to say. Because yeah, like you don't really see our day to day together. I mean, you do sometimes. I mean, we have like gotten in arguments and stuff, but it's just that it's not anything to do with like.
We don't see the day-to-day though, because she tries very hard to curate what we see so that it appears that she is nothing more than the most amazing housewife, um, and that she has truly changed her ways. So the fact that we don't see the day-to-day, that's on her, not anybody else.
I'm not, it's not like, it's just we're not really working out. We're not compatible. Like, you know, maybe people saw it coming, fair enough. You know, it's just, I wanted to give it a really good shot because, you know, there is love there, obviously. But, no, there was no cheating with Nor.
Okay, so first of all, we're not compatible. If she would have done the dating process right, we wouldn't be stuck in this situation. She classically came on a live stream and said, who wants a Canadian visa? Who wants Canadian citizenship? Message me. Then she met Salah online. We very impulsively flew to Kuwait. And then we very quickly announced that we were married. Um, I get having feelings for somebody extremely fast. I get being excited about it. This is going to sound crazy, but um, first time I met my husband, my knees gave out on me. And it continued to do that for the next 6 months, that we weren't even really talking. Like, he did deliveries to the store that I worked in, and so I'd see him long enough for him to come in and, you know, wave at me and do his deliveries and stuff. But every single time he walked in my store, or he got about 10 minutes from the store, I would start tripping over stuff. I would drop stuff. It was so embarrassing. And if you ask him, he tells me that the first time he saw me, um, that he knew he was going to marry me, which, you know, that's great. Like, it's the whole love at first sight thing. Um, but in the process of that, we spent 2 years dating and building a relationship, because neither one of us really knew if we wanted to get married. Um, and then, crazy enough, I had my first stroke, and I wasn't even out of the hospital 2 weeks, and he was like, I can't live without you. You have to be my wife. You know, and we jumped in head first because that's what you do when you have spent 2 years building a relationship and really getting to know each other and really going through life struggles. And she didn't do that. She was just so desperate to be claimed and to appear that she was wanted, that she just jumped into head first into anything that she could find.
Um, no, I don't want any mean comments about Salah whatsoever. Yes, please delete those. It's just that it's not him. It's not him. It's more of like a cultural differences that are just really, I don't feel like myself. Like, no matter how hard I try, I realize that in order to like make the marriage work, I'll have to assimilate into something I don't feel that I am. No name, member for 13 months, loyalty.
Okay, but she was the one who screamed for so long that she wanted a Muslim man. She wanted that kind of person. That was what she found attractive, and she found the culture attractive and how they treated their women attractive. Like, she so desperately needed it. Um, and now she's saying, I can't be that. Um, you know, you converted to his religion. You chose to go and live in his culture. Like, if you would have properly studied and looked into these things, you would have realized what it would have required of you, and you would have made this decision earlier. Um, you know, I think especially when she was in Kuwait, she felt like she could get away with more, than she can in Syria. And it also appears that the longer they're in Syria, the more of a backbone that Salah gets, and the more he is comparing her, to the good Muslim wives that he is surrounded with because of his family and the friends that he has there. And she just doesn't measure up at the end of the day.
TBs, I just want you happy. Thank you, no name, ready, set, rebees. Thank you. I mean, it's not that I need time to adapt because I think I've given it a fair go. It's been like 3 years. Hey, YouTube lover. Thank you, Decca. That's the thing. I have to change a lot about myself, and some things I welcome change, some things that were not very good for me. It's just that, like, I find every day I kind of like, for example, I'll just be in the bathroom and I'll be looking at my Bath and Body Works and like Western products, and I'll be like, I really just want to leave, get in a car and go and like do something by myself. I can't, like, I don't feel like I have like these are like the same issues. Like, and then I moved back to Canada already, remember? Yeah, and I've changed my mind. And that's the problem. Like, last time I moved, I got kind of like freaked out because I went through a lot of stress, which is like my fault for like showing my apartment, but there's a lot of stressful things that, make me not want to really like go back there. So,
Okay, so we're mad that we can't drive, first of all, and go do what we want to do, when we want to do it, how we want to do it. Which generally is, I believe it's even more of a cultural thing in Syria. I felt like near the end of Kuwait, she felt like she was starting to have more freedom and could be more of herself. But in the process, where did that get us? It got us turning into an international fugitive and fleeing from Kuwait. I do get the struggle with not being able to drive anywhere. Um, with my strokes and the seizures that I have, I'm not allowed to drive. Um, to the point that like we finally just sold my car because it was just sitting and nobody was using it. So I get that struggle, but when you are surrounded by people that support you and love you, like my husband, he's tired on the weekends, but he realizes how confined my life is during the week because of the fact I can't drive. I can't really walk anywhere. Um, so on the weekends, he's like, "What do you want to do? I'll take you anywhere you want to go. I'll be happy just going." And there's sometimes he'll walk around with me and we'll do our thing. There's other times he's quite happy to find a spot to sit and just let me enjoy being out for a little while. So I think if they had that kind of a lifestyle and that kind of appreciation for each other and the struggles each other had, it might not be such a big deal for her when it comes to the driving, anyways.
yeah, I just, it's not really like a bad separation. It's just like we're kind of at each other's throats more, and I just feel like it's things that are just never going to change, because in order for things to change, we would both have to change a lot of things that we're not really that comfortable changing, and it's just not going to work out.
Okay, well, first of all, and this may be a hot take on this, I don't know. I don't necessarily feel that Salah should change a lot about his lifestyle and his culture and how he lives his life as a Muslim man, because that's what she walked into. She knew from the beginning that he was not going to compromise his belief systems or how he chose to live life or the type of wife that he wanted. And so I honestly feel like when she walked into this, that she fully agreed, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm committing to. And now she's saying, well, I feel like you should. That's not how it works within that culture.
You know? No, he can't. It's not about like marriage counseling. It's like fundamental cultural differences. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. It's just. We've tried to work it out for like 3 years, and it's just not.
Okay, so if you've been working this out for 3 years, that means it's been this way from the beginning. You had a get out of jail free card when you moved back to Canada after the whole Kuwaiti thing. And I think that was also the time for you to really look at your life and say, this, I'm not getting out of this what I want. And on top of it, I've ruined every dream that we have, and we will never carry those out. Maybe it's time for me to walk away, but she couldn't. She wanted to be seen as claimed and wanted. She wanted to be seen as loved. Um, and on top of it, I think she did a lot of it out of spite. She wanted to show to everybody that she could do these things and that she was more than everybody thought she was. And it turns out we were right the entire time.
I mean, there was like a lot of stuff going on behind. I didn't want to make it public, but I feel like I have to, because I'm kind of like desperate to just like, figure out like how to move on and rebuild my life. And I feel like I have to like build from zero. You were born to peace and be.
You didn't have to, though, if you would have stayed in Canada originally because your family helped to set you completely up. I also find it rather disgusting that because of her YouTube paychecks that she gets, Foodie makes a lot more money in a month than most of her viewers do, but she is expecting them to fully fund everything for her, um, which I find very repugnant.
Be free. That, like, I feel like I have too big of a personality to just be like I don't want to say this without like hurting anyone's feelings, I feel like I'm just not meant to be like a subservient housewife. Like it's just not my personality.
Okay. This might be overshare for you guys, and you guys might judge me for this if you want to. That's fine. It's my lifestyle and what I do. She says that she has too big of a personality to be a traditional submissive housewife. Um, and she says, I don't want to offend anybody because I guess she thinks that every traditional housewife or any relationship that carries out traditional marital roles, that somebody has to be small and quiet and demure, and that's not the case. I am a traditional housewife through and through. My husband runs this house. He makes the money, he pays the bills. It is my job to stay home. I take care of kids and dogs. I clean the house. I cook his meals for him. I do all of the things around the house. When I feel up to it, I even mow the yard because he has a lot on his plate as the sole survivor of this house. However, it has in no way made my personality any smaller. I am constantly bouncing around this house, telling sarcastic jokes and, being kind of mouthy in a playful way. Um, I very regularly have music blasting as loud as I can get it to go, and I am just having random dance parties through the house. Um, sometimes when I watch the girls, if I'm not live streaming, I get a lot mouthier and I'll scream and, yell at them and stuff like that. Um, but it in no way has made me have to be smaller. If anything, it has made me more comfortable in who I am. Because I know at the end of the day that, first of all, I almost passed, and all it did was make my husband love me more and want to stick around longer. Um, but on top of it, we have made the agreement that this is your job, this is my job. And as long as we stay within what our jobs are, we are free to be who we want to be, how we want to be. And there is such a sense of security in that I can be loud and wild and crazy and, be who I want to be, as long as I'm still doing laundry. You know, he's, he is not overly emotional at all. He's very, if there's anybody quiet in our relationship, it is him. And he's free to be that because we have come to that common ground. I don't think that she realizes that you can, two things can be true at once. You can be a traditional housewife and you can still have your personality. I think she's very much painted herself into this box where she is required to be dainty and demure, and that's not the case. I'm covered in tattoos. I give myself my own tattoos, so I'm regularly giving myself more tattoos. Um, she thinks housewives listen to quiet, serene music. I don't. I have metal on constantly, and I do the fry screams and all of it that they do. Um, I dress like Morticia Adams half the time. And the other half I'm in band t-shirts and sweats. Like, I can be who I want to be because there's safety in what we have set up. I just don't know that she's mature enough or Salah is mature enough to come to that realization and come to that agreement.
And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what the life you want, if traditionally that's what you want in life, I'm not. And it's not Syria because Syria, like, traveling here has been such an amazing experience. I've met people that have like impacted my life that are so amazing. Um, you know,
I think the biggest issue for her is that we went from the crackhead Olympics to a tradwife arc, and she did not do the soul searching that she needed to do for that. She didn't need to do the work on herself, and she has also refused to compromise who she is, um, and what it takes to be in a healthy marriage or relationship that isn't screaming and fighting all the time. That takes maturity, that takes choices. And it's not always easy choices, but that's what makes your relationship get better as you go on.
so I just it took me a long time to realize that I'm the type of person that people can scream things to me right in my face and I won't see it unless I realize that myself. You're a 7-year relationship with a Muslim, but I wasn't able to change. It's really, really, really hard when you have opposing worlds come together, you know?
Okay, but I think some of it too, the opposing worlds came together because we talked about it the other day. Um, Chantal has always rushed into the situation saying, well, I'm a strong Canadian woman and nobody's going to tell me what to do. That's not how this works. It's just not. And it's not even, I don't even know that it's a Muslim cultural thing. Um, when you get into a relationship or a marriage of any kind, you generally at some point have to say, hey, I am strong and independent to this point. And once we hit this point, this is where compromise comes in. This is where we have to learn as a couple to be independent together, so that it can meld together into something whole and complete while still maintaining your independence and your lives on the other side of it. Um, I don't know that she's ever experienced enough of a real relationship to be able to understand that or even understand the psychology behind it.
And it's nothing like that's just his culture. That's just like that's not anything negative. It's not, there's just it's just too different. I don't feel like I fit in no matter how much I try. I don't feel completely comfortable, like in a way. Like I feel comfortable at home right now with him. Like
Well, part of fitting in would be speaking the language. If I moved, if I moved to a country where I did not speak the language, and I was constantly in rooms surrounded by people who were all talking and having conversations and enjoying their time, I would sit in the corner feeling like I was the outcast. I was the weird one and I didn't fit. But she has had 3 years to learn the language and has refused. So I really feel like that's on her.
in this house, like physical needs, like I'm not too hot. We have water. We have we're not living in like abject poverty. It's just that it's just I'm a very very different than what I don't know. I don't even know if I can really explain it. Amber, loyalty visa change is hard, but you have to do what's right for you. Love you, Chantal. You're strong. Thank you, Amber. Ready, set, rebees. Thanks for rebeesing. Katie, that's why I'm Syrian living in the West. I couldn't do it there. And 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 I'm not talking bad about Salah, and I don't want anyone to talk bad about Salah. It's that 3-year contract. It's just that he like Katie.
She did say that it was a 3 year contract between them, and the 3 year contract is coming up in October. So is this really that they're separating because there's irreconcilable differences? Or is our contract coming to an end and Salah would like to move on to somebody else and she's tired of living outside of the Western world, where she has access to fast food all the time?
You said you wanted to go to the U.S. He likes this life. Like he is investing his life in here, and I just I thought eventually we would move on and do other things, but I don't think he really wants that. Like he wants to establish here forever, and he's invested in things here where he'll have ties here, and I feel like eventually my channel will just wither away, and that does make me panic because that's all I really have in life. Like that might seem sad, but that's all I really have. And I friggin' freak out at the thought of being 100% dependent on any person, especially somebody with such different views. Um, yeah, I am Western, yes.
Part of growing up and settling into a relationship and a marriage and just getting older in age, is wanting to settle. Um, we definitely do not feel settled here, and we would like to move on to something eventually. But when we say that we want to move on to something eventually, we're talking about getting back out into the country and establishing a farm and getting animals and gardening again and getting back to that homesteading lifestyle, because that's what we love. But that comes with even more settling than we are here now. We have dogs here, so we would have to find sitters and stuff like that for us to go and do anything. However, once you get out and you have a farm or you have a homestead, um, you really don't go anywhere anymore because that becomes, you have your full time job that you do during the day, and then you come home after work and you have another full time job. You need to brush hog acreage, you have eggs to gather, you have animals to deal with and feed, you have gardening that you need to do. Once it comes to, which I will absolutely love this if we ever get here, once we come to when it's time to reap all your vegetables, no kidding, I will probably spend 2 weeks doing nothing but canning and processing everything. It almost becomes like you have two full time jobs. which I technically have now. I do all of my housework during the day. It is a full time job to take care of my family. But then I am also putting in full time hours here. So technically, I have two full time jobs. And crazy thing is, neither one of them give me a paycheck, which, it is what it is. But I enjoy staying busy. I enjoy doing those things. But part of that is settling down. Part of that is putting your roots in and digging into that and building so that eventually you have stuff to pass on to other people. You have a legacy to pass down besides random craziness on the internet.
Thanks, Vulgar. Thank you. Yeah, and I feel like, obviously when in Rome, like I have to assimilate, but I don't know. No, I'm not in shambles because it's something I want, you know? Like I feel relief. I think I feel relief. As
I don't think a lot of people have been talking about the fact that they think that this is fake, because she's not upset. I personally don't think she's going to be upset at all, because she is very narcissistic. She is very self centered. It is all about her all the time. And she's decided this is no longer for her. She would rather be able to, be how she used to be and have access to fast food all the time and not be told what to do or how to do it. And so at this point, he is more than expendable. It's just what it is. It's kind of like Pete's. She did it to him twice. When she broke up with him to, start her relationship with BB, it was very much, sorry about you, I don't need you anymore. And she moved on. Same thing happened when she got ready to move to Kuwait. Her and Pete's were still sharing a home. They were still on a lease. And when she decided that, yep, I'm just going to be with Salah, she was kind of like, deuces, good luck. And he was left to deal with packing everything up, with getting everything taken care of. Because at the end of the day, he became expendable because he wasn't the type of person she wanted to claim her and love her. She had found that elsewhere, and because she was moving on, she also didn't need anything she had in that house, including her cats. And she wasn't really upset about the cats until she realized that FFG had the cats, and that's when it became an issue. Everything is expendable to her when it stops being useful to her. So that's honestly why I think she's not upset about this.
mean, like I don't mean that in a mean way. Turkey hair plugs. The problem is that like I do want to reestablish myself in Canada and go back to like beezing and just being myself. Bear, very important bees. Thank you, Bear, for the hugs and 27 months of beezing. Ready, set, babies. Thank you. I can't change my mind again. I've changed my mind. I've upheaved people's lives. Like I can't keep doing that. Like people are fed up, you know. Hey, Lavisa. Julia, I'm taking with me. Yeah, 100%. The problem is I don't know when I'm gonna leave, so that's the problem. Like I can't. If I want to leave like sooner than later, I need help. Like I need to like try to raise money because like I know you're thinking, well, just have your husband pay. No, like a whole setting. I need to like start from scratch. I need like first and last month's rent. I need to bring Julia. I don't know how much that's gonna cost. I need to like even just buy a bed, you know. Like, and I need my airfare. And he just bought a car with cash, and he's already invested his money in like I don't want to say what here, but to make sure he can financially support himself, and he's not rich. So he cannot, you know. So just by doing my content and stuff and, you know, saving money, maybe I can get out of here by like next, and if like, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so, I don't know. Otherwise, I'd have to like try to raise money. I don't know. Otherwise, you know, if not, then I have to stay longer, but yeah, it's true.
Okay, it just clicked in my head. She was wanting to get home to do Halloween content, and she has this fundraiser going through the 14th of October. Um, so how much of this process is being sped up, um, because she can't celebrate Halloween, in a Muslim country, and at the end of the day, that's what's most important.
I really haven't seen. I'm not really looking at the comments. I'll give you $5. Thank you, Karen. Divorce fundraiser. I can't start a GoFundMe because of where I am. So I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can just like save, but it'll just take longer to leave. Like, I don't know when I can. That's all. So, yeah, there's no embassy here. I still do cameos, yeah. If my mom started one for me, I don't want to like. Maybe I can ask her. I don't want to like bug her too, because you have to like verify. Tried starting one, and like they're like after verifying my identity, they're like, no, because you're in a country with sanctions. Even though I used a VPN, like closest embassy is in Lebanon. Everyone should buy.
Okay, so she just said that she was using a VPN, but she has sworn this entire time that she's been in Kuwait and Syria that she has not been using a VPN at all. So I don't know if that's an accidental slip up or if she's just at the point where she doesn't care what we know or don't know anymore. I wonder though, does this mean that Salah is going to come out and do a tell all? Because he has admin access to her YouTube account, which means he could technically make himself the owner and cut her off from the YouTube funds. And then he could come on and start doing tell alls and probably make a good amount of money, especially for where he lives right now.
Cameo. Yeah, if everyone buys a cameo, I'll have enough money for sure. I think I would need maybe like around 10,000 or like 8 to 10,000. If I hit the lotto, I'll get you home. Thank you. Mm. I don't want to go back to Canada. Yeah, that's the thing. It's really expensive to go back and start from scratch. I don't even have a bed. I don't even have like, you know.
But you did. Just saying.
I know, Katie. That's okay. The first month's rent is like, you need first and last in Ontario, which is probably at least 4,000, probably at least. So it kind of sucks. What did I buy in June? I don't want to go to Thailand. Not, I don't know. I'd be like, like stay Muslim. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I get home. Like, I don't know. I don't know how.
Okay, so somebody said, "Are you going to stay a Muslim?" And she goes, um, yeah. Like that didn't sound very sure. There wasn't a lot of confidence in there. And then she followed that up with, "I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what's going to happen when I get home." So right there tells us that I think that response alone tells us that there wasn't, she didn't revert because she really believed in it or because it was something that really spoke to her, which is why she's probably only read 5 pages of the Quran. Um, but it was more to be accepted by a man and have a man claim her. And then she wonders why there's cultural differences and major differences in belief. It's because she never actually, for real, had a change of heart or reverted. She was just playing along and cosplaying to be claimed.
I'm gonna feel. I don't know. I'm just really confused right now, like about everything, about my identity, about my beliefs, about everything. You know. The problem is I can't go to my family because everybody knows where every single family member of mine lives. They've been doxxed, and for their safety, my safety, I don't want to. So I don't have massive savings because I'm paying massive debts. Like, and I don't make as much money as I used to. So my problem is it's not with Syria. No, the people here have been so nice. Like, I can't tell you. It's like I feel more like happy in place here than I did like in Kuwait. But exactly, you need to keep your privacy intact. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, teardrop. Yeah. No, we're separating. Yeah. No, I don't want to go to Dubai. It's like
I also find it really interesting because I asked my husband the same question earlier. She keeps saying that we're separating or we're splitting up, and that's it. But I asked him, I said, if we were having issues and you had a platform like she did to come to the internet and say, me and my wife are no longer working out. I desperately need to get out of here. I need to move, but I need help to get started. How would you phrase that? And he said, well, first of all, I would never do that. But he was like, second, I would come and say, me and my wife are not working out. We are now getting a divorce. And I said, I know. I was thinking about it too. And I just kept thinking, saying we're splitting or we're separating, it sounds closer to like a boyfriend and girlfriend splitting up. You know, this isn't working anymore. I think we need to split up. So can you get your stuff and get out, and I'll get my stuff and get out? That's very much how it comes across. Because I told him, I said the same thing. I would come to the internet and I would say, guys, it's been a rough week. Me and my husband aren't working out, and it looks like we're going to file for divorce. And then if I needed help, say, hey, if you guys could, you know, help me afford a lawyer or whatever. But both of us agreed completely that we would never come and say, oh, we're splitting. We're it would be a we it is a divorce. So it very much makes me wonder how real this marriage was from the beginning, because I know we've never seen a marriage license. We've all assumed it was a fake loophole marriage, and it very much comes across that way with how she is continuing to phrase it. You know, we're just splitting.
It's like Kuwait. All the Gulf countries are the same. I just want to go back, and establish my life and have fun like I used to. I just really miss that. I miss like being free to just like have the fun I want to have. Salah's not here. He doesn't want to listen to me talk like this, but I don't mean it in a bad way. I'm just being like completely honest about how I feel, and I'm tired of like holding it in. I feel like I'm always holding something in here, and then I freak out and I take it out on him because I don't like. No, I've been on my SSRIs forever now. It's finished. It's finished.
But she has been on mental health medication for a long time now. However, she just said the other day that she has switched to a bargain brand, that is a different brand from what she generally takes. So this is kind of an interesting time for this to be happening also when you consider that.
So that life is not for me. Exactly. Even Salah said that. Whenever we were talking about separating, he's like, well, I honestly don't feel this life is for you. You're always complaining about something. Uh, I don't think there's therapy here for that. It's not about therapy, ECP. It's about differences that in culture. Like we have different fundamental beliefs and values.
Then why were you married? That's usually one of the first questions that you ask. What goals do you have for your life? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? How do you feel on children? How do you feel on marriage? You know, like I understand you're religious, but how religious are you? You know, what is your take on budgeting and bills? What do you want to travel the world, or do you want to be a homebody? I mean, those are very important, like baseline establishing questions that I feel most people generally ask, especially when they're moving towards marriage, to make sure that both people are chasing after the same goals. And I don't know, maybe we need to create for her a questionnaire and send it to her so that the next person she finds, she can sit with her checklist and mark what's acceptable or not.
Oh, the visa. Did you like it? Hey, Barb. I don't know. I think I will be happier. And like my health is not any better. I don't want to I don't want to I feel like I talked to my family and they like one family member thought like you guys there's so much you don't see. Instead of going live now because I have to be so private and I don't have like the freedom of speech I really used to, I talk to like my family like usually like my aunt or somebody. And she really wants me to be evaluated like psychiatrically like really well because I'm so like I don't know if manic is the word, but like I need better healthcare, like more sophisticated healthcare. The healthcare here is good for like.
I thought Salah said Syria had the best healthcare anywhere. I'm shocked to hear it's subpar.
So yeah, it's not a grift because like if I come up with the money myself, it will just take me longer to leave here. And obviously, if it was a grift, then it would be a scam, and it's not because if I raise money to go home, then I'll be back in Canada using the money for that. So Canada's expensive, yeah. Yeah, true. The slush fund? Yeah, I know. Yeah, who knows? I'm not allowed to unprivate my videos right now, so I think I'll just wait, maybe if I go back, but medication works wonders.
So when she's back in Canada, she's unprivating all the old content, which I guess that is the announcement that the old foodie is back.
Fire sale bees? What? My camera's not on because I'm just like, I have a big headache I don't feel like wearing hijab. I don't really want to talk about like what like Muslim and everything right now. I'm so confused. I'm just really I just really don't want to like, you know, talk about that right now. I know I'm really too much of a free spirit. I'm really too much of a free spirit. Yeah, and you know what? You have heard this before. That's what I'm saying. Like so many times, but I've never like fully like separated, I guess. I don't think so anyway. No, I don't have my ring on. Thanks, Maddie. No, like I wouldn't be coming live if I wasn't leaving. Like I'm planning on leaving. No, I don't want to leave Julia. Yeah, Elvira. Well, for now, separating. Thanks, Ageless.
Okay, why are we just for now separating? If we know that we are physically moving to a completely different country that he can never visit, you have already said that you refuse to come back to the Middle East because this isn't the life that you want or that is healthy for you or that you need. So why are we still just saying for now separating? That doesn't make sense to me. It seems like it is fully over 100% at this point.
Yeah, cherry blossom. Us women love to change our minds. No, Smee didn't cry. Please take Julia. Yeah, I'm not leaving Julia. Stella's in the other room. No, that's not what I meant. Thank you, Wanda. Appreciate it. Thank you. Ageless beauty. No, but that's the thing. Even that little thing, you know, there's so many differences. Like, yeah, YouTube lover. No, I didn't get that many donations actually last time, so. Kinda, Kingu. Hey, Shauna. Thank you. Go back to being the fun. I feel like every night, like, the thing is like, obviously, like, I love Salah. So, yeah, it is hard. It's just that I do feel some relief, and maybe he does too, like, you know, because I'm always whining and complaining about something. Hardly wishing both of you only the best. Thank you, Hardly Quinn. I appreciate that. Donations for KFG. Shut up.
That would be so hard, I think, to sit and realize like you're paying for the consequences of her actions and you are trying so hard to make her as comfortable as she can be. And yes, like he's gaining from it, he's getting YouTube money. But then to have her sit there and be so ungrateful and complaining all the time and being snarky and spiteful because things are not exactly how she wants it, I honestly would be feeling some kind of way about it.
Oh my god. They probably could set up a GoFundMe for me, but I feel like maybe I'll ask them. I don't know. It's like embarrassing a bit.
It's embarrassing to ask your family to set up a fundraiser for you, but it is not embarrassing to come on a live stream and beg for all of your supporters to send you $10,000. I don't see a lot of the difference.
No, he's gonna stay here. He has a house here, you know, and he just bought a car, so. At home with Melissa. This is a new beginning for you. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate you. It's great. My mom is like always busy and she's like got a short attention span. No one's gonna donate 10,000, but like even just like anything helps, you know. So I don't know if she would be able to, like, you know, but maybe I don't know.
I think anything helps would be closer to like, um, me saying, "Hey guys, I need an Ethernet cable and I need a converter port for the Ethernet, so that I can really make this into something great. It's gonna be about $40. Even just $1 would help." I think that is a big difference compared to saying, guys, I need an apartment, I need first and last month's rent, I'm gonna need you to buy me furniture. I need a $3,000 plane ticket. I'm going to need you to pay for me to transport my cat thousands of miles. Oh, by the way, once I get her there, I'm also going to need you guys to get me some cat food. We're going to need treats. I'm going to need a cat tree, guys. Don't forget about the cat tree. I think there's a very big difference in little things. Like, guys, seriously, $1 would help. That's all it is. To where I'm saying, I'm really to hit this goal and to get everything I need because I forgot some incidentals I'm going to need. Um, I really need each of you to, pony up about $300, $350. That should get it. Um, it, I am always shocked at how willing people are to come to the internet and be like, guys, need 5,000 right here, right now. I wouldn't even have the nerve to call my mother and say, Mom, so I kind of need $5,000. If you could help me out, maybe, maybe not. I can't imagine.
You and Sola can stay friends to the extent. Yeah, for sure. Like, we're not on bad terms. It's just you know, I mean, obviously you saw that we fight sometimes, but that's my person.
Hi, Bubba. Where's your dad? Where's your dad at? Hey, babe. Can you call the boys? Thank you.
Personality, I realize, like, I feel like I just need to be alone in life. Like, I'm so, like, I get overwhelmed with people, and I think that's part of, like, my mental health. Like, I just need to, I don't know. No, I'm not gonna move in with Amber.
I don't think it's overwhelmed by people. I think it's overwhelmed by being around people who expect her to behave in the necessary manner for the marriage that she is in and the culture that she lives in. I think that's the biggest issue. I think she has played this part so long that she's just getting tired of pretending to be something that she is definitely not.
Which was I wish I was a rich bees or yeah. Well, I know even you guys just like, being here is really good support. Um I'm not gonna change my mind. If I get help to go back and I raise enough money to go earlier, then obviously I'm gonna go. If I don't, I'll just have to stay till I do. And I'm not leaving until I'm ready. It's stressful being there and like having to worry about, So like yeah. Lovisa, it's more symbolic than much you've got this. Thank you, Lovisa. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you. It's okay, Margie, and I know a lot of you are struggling. I would never ask people to help who can't, I yeah. Don't be impulsive, yeah. I'm not because like I feel like, every night like I have the same dream that I'm like, you know, just back. I just don't feel like I feel like something is like I feel lost and I don't feel like myself. That's the number one thing. I feel like I'm being muted. I feel like I'm being muted.
Okay, well, you went from a country where you generally have um, the amazing privilege of a lot of freedom of speech to a place where, freedom of speech doesn't exist as much. But then on top of it, women in general are expected to be quiet. You are expected to be seen and not heard. Um, but I guess you didn't look into that enough.
And for a long time I lived that way. So yeah, Lorena. Yeah, well, who knows what will happen if when I go back, eating a nashi. Yeah. Thanks, Kiara. It's not a lie. I've never lied. When I ask for money, it's not a lie. You know? And with like if I do set up something for donations like towards moving back home, I don't mind being more transparent with that and showing exactly how much I got than with Sasa because I don't care about like myself as much. I don't know.
Okay, so and what happens? She was raising all the money for this little girl. What happens now that that fundraising isn't there? What happens that Foodie's YouTube paycheck isn't there? Um, Does that just go away? She brags all the time about her and Salah pay for people's water bill and rent and food and all of this other stuff. Where is all that support going now? Now that none of this is serving you, you're done, you're over it, you want to go back to being a strong Canadian woman. What happens to all these people that have been depending on you? I mean, I'm not trying to be snarky, like I'm legitimately asking what happens to these people.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Come on, Gore World. Pay up. Send me home.
Wow. Come on, girl world. Pay up. Send me home. It's time for you to really start paying out for all of the amazing content that I'm giving you constantly. It's ridiculous.
I can't get a job here, Tizzy. And I mean, I do YouTube. I don't know, I say. I'm not saying that it's wrong, like culturally, that there's anything wrong with the culture, anything wrong with Salah. It's just not me. That's it. It's just not me. Um, no, I will never get in another relationship ever. Nope. Just me and cats.
We have a spinster foodie art coming in. Crazy cat lady.
Me and cats from now on in life. I just want, I just want to be free to do and say what I want whenever I want. Go live whenever I want. Um, no, I can't have Sam back. I tried. Single arc. Hey, Missy Med. He's happy in his new home, so actually I'm happy for him, and I wouldn't want to upheave him, I guess, if he's happy. So, Julia, it is. Right, Juice? Juice! Juice! Oh, Juice! Hello. Yeah, I'll totally be a crazy cat lady. I don't mind. Thanks, Marmoset. He's been in new home for years now. It is very restrictive. Like, I miss doing fun stuff, like fun content. I really miss, and this is so stupid, I miss going to pumpkin patches. I miss going to, you know, I miss going to, what was I gonna say? I got distracted by a comment. Just doing anything, like, Black and Decker. I don't know what I'm gonna.
I honestly think that she has so many opportunities to do so many fun and original things in Syria where she is. I think she's too lazy to find it. I think she's too lazy to do the research. It's like the other day she kept talking about, I miss movie theaters so much. There's no movie theaters in Syria. And somebody in her chat was like, actually, there is. There's a pretty big one in Damascus. And she was like, what? Really? Can somebody check the movie times for me? I'd like to see what's playing. Okay. All we've pretty much gotten is chicken strips, her trying to cook food, and random nonsense vlogs that she could have done so much more with and chose not to. I honestly believe she has one of the best opportunities to do a ton of things where she's at, and she's just refusing because it's not pumpkin patches, it's not Halloween, she's not getting Christmas gifts, um, she can't smoke whenever she wants, and she can't just run around the corner and get McDonald's or Arby's or Hardee's or whatever it is that she's wanting, and she doesn't drive here. Like at the end of this day, I believe this all comes down to her being selfish and being solely about herself and not realizing that marriage is all about compromise. That's how this works. And I think she's too dense to understand it.
Gonna do. But oh yeah, not well. No, I'm not. I don't feel. I feel maybe it's just not like set in right now because it's just like, you know. But it's just not working out. So why would I be sad? It's not like I'm the one making the decision. So I'm not really. Obviously, like I love him, yes, but like
I think she's upset about it because not upset about it because this is typical narcissistic behavior. And she can say that she loves him all she wants. However, generally, narcissists really only love you as long as you are contributing to their wants, their needs, their desires. And the second that you become expendable or you're no longer as useful as they feel that you should be, they're just like, go away, I'm done with you. I'll move on to something else. And that's really what I think it comes down to at the end of the day. This is all about her just being selfish.
Like I said, that's not enough. Like, if I've tried for 3 years to be, at first it was like really exciting and like different, and I'm having a good time here in Syria. You know, it's just like tonight we're gonna go out and like hang out with family and stuff. We're civil and everything. It's just long term. It's just not. I need to like be free and back in my culture. That's basically what it is. And alone, because I get annoyed with people like after a while. You know.
No, she gets annoyed with people who don't feed into her every whim and desire and do everything they can to benefit her. The person she has been the happiest with ever is Pete's, but it is because Pete's bends over backwards to cater to her and her desires.
Yeah, I don't want to miss out on pumpkin patches. Thanks, teardrop. Sometimes love is not enough if you're not compatible. You know, like
Okay. Uh, Crazy theory here. Love is not ever enough. Love is great. It helps to build relationships. It helps to keep you guys bonding. But I can tell you, being married and going through the things that we have gone through in our life together, um, there are some days that I wake up and I don't have excited butterfly feelings about him, and he's the same way. Um, there are days because of things that are going on, we get on other's nerves. There's days that we don't necessarily like each other. But what it comes down to at the end of the day is the day is no matter how I feel about him or the struggles we're going through in life, I look at him and I say, I choose to love you. I am choosing now to love you and put you in the place that you deserve to be because I'm choosing to love you. And I also have a very weird belief. My grandpa gave me this amazing bit of advice about a year before he passed. And I asked him, I said, you and grandma have been married so long and you're so happy. How does this work? And he said, I'm not going to lie. He said, there are some days I wake up and your grandma is my least favorite person on this planet. And I was like, ouch. Okay. And he said, however, because I made a commitment to her, those are the days that I choose to love her. And I don't just love her, I choose to love her extra. Those are the days that I stop and get flowers. Those are the days I stop and get chocolates. Those are the days that I go out of my way to tell her she's beautiful and how much I love her. And he said, at the end of the day, when we're ready to go to bed, I may have started off the day with her being my least favorite person on the planet, but by the end of the day, I am in love with her and I see my wife that I married when we were in our 20s. Because that's what it is. Love alone is not enough. It's the choices that go behind that love. It's the choices to continue putting that first. It's the choices to look and say, I'm feeling some kind of way because whatever I have going on, but that's not necessarily your problem. So I'm going to step out of myself and I'm going to put in extra effort to love you and to get over my personal feelings. A lot of times, my personal feelings are that I don't feel good, or it's been a stressful couple days, or we have a lot going on in life and it feels like we're just constantly running and we don't necessarily get to spend time together. But that's when I look at him and it's like, I'm working harder. Like, I get this is my personal ish right here. And because of it, I'm going to step out of it and focus on you. And within a day or two, we're back to being madly in love and happy and best friends. And it's just part of it. She does not realize that there's not always going to be these butterfly, happy, exciting feelings. It just doesn't happen. You have to put in the choice and the effort behind it to stay in love and make that love work and grow despite what situations you are in. And I honestly think if people do that, anybody can make a relationship work.
I don't know, Blue Lace. We've been, going over. There's been some issues. Cultural expectations is a lot. Yes, my family cannot afford to.
Okay, but that's when you sit down. If he says, I want a traditional wife, awesome. What does a traditional wife look like to you? My definition of a traditional wife may be a lot different than what yours is. So, what does this look like? Are you willing to compromise anywhere on that? And while we're speaking about a traditional life, I would like for you to explain to me what you think a traditional husband is. If you're holding me to this standard, I would really like to know what standard you're going to hold yourself to. Like, those are real easy conversations to have that could have been had years ago, and this all would have been avoided, and we wouldn't have gotten the horrible Kuwait arc or Syrian arc.
Um, it's helped me set up my life again there. Hey, Anna. And they probably wouldn't anyways. In a lot of ways, we're not compatible. Yes, that's right. So. I think that's how I know it's like also maybe time to move on. It's not, I don't feel really jealous that much when I think about that. I would just want him to be happy anyways. He's really young also, and he, you know, young, fertile. I'm not, so I just like, I'm tired of being insecure about that actually.
I think some of it too. I have this weird out there conspiracy theory, and you can tell me if I'm crazy or not. I believe Nor might be his first wife. About 10 years ago, he posted on Facebook and said, "My wife is just so beautiful." Um, and there was a picture that he posted. Well, now suddenly we cannot show Nora at all. We cannot see anything. And I believe Nora is the little girl's um, mom, and that little girl is about 9 years old. So if we were married 10 years ago and there's now a 9-year-old child, what are the chances that that is the lost child? I mean, they do resemble each other when you see them in pictures next to each other or interacting together. So that could be part of it. And, you know, she doesn't have him to herself anymore. There's more to compete with. And how do you compete with somebody that is closer to his age, that he might have a child with, and who falls into the exact parameters of what he thinks a wife should be? I mean, it's a theory, but it's one I've been considering.
I just want to be like at peace. So yeah. Don't let these clout chasers try to hack your vibe. I just want to be like in a comfortable area, Mario Beezing in Canada, and just doing content for you guys. I miss time warps. I really miss stuff like that. Thanks, Nicole. Queen bees, not fertile. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly how much I need to get to Canada. I like if I want to leave. If I want to leave like soon in the next like month or so, I need to. Yeah, I can't. Like, you know, I have to save my money to go. Like, I'm gonna be on my own, so I will need his money to take care of himself, and I need my money. So I would say probably like with first and last month's rent, a flight, Julia, bringing Julia. I don't know how much that's gonna cost. Her rabies vaccine is due in November. I gotta get that. That's not expensive. Uh, maybe around 8,000, 8 to 10,000, give or take. You know, first and last, utilities, and then I need like some furniture. I don't even have a bed. I'd probably need to rent a car for like a good 2 weeks just so I can move and get my stuff, and maybe.
I think if I was as miserable as she claims to be, that I would just be excited to be in Canada in general. Like, I need to sleep on the floor for a week. Awesome. I can do that. I know how to I know how to make a pallet on the ground. Um, you know, maybe it means I only have a bed in my apartment for a month or two. Awesome. You can still sit on your bed. You can still relax. It may be going to the Dollar Tree and you buy, you know, 4 plates, 4 cups, 4 forks, 4 spoons, whatever. You generally only need enough to exist. If it's as bad as she's saying it is and she's as miserable as she is, I would be doing my best to get out of there and needing the minimum possible to try and start my life over, because it would just be an act of desperation to get out.
My family doesn't have the money, Anna. Strawberries, no. I'm not gonna take his inheritance money. He doesn't even have a job. Well, I want to do a GoFundMe. Like, I tried to set one up, but it's not letting me from here. So I'll have to ask someone else to do it for me. And yeah, I prefer that too, because it is, you know, people, if you're worried about like grifting scams, whatever people are worried about, for peace of mind, it is more, you can see like how much is raised and stuff like that. I need the receipt. So there's no hard feelings. Let's apply for a mortgage in Pete's name. A lot of adventures saw the world. Yeah. We did come to the conclusion together, yes. Yeah. I am in a bankruptcy, so I cannot borrow money at all. Anything I've ever paid for has been with money between Salat and I. So, yeah, I'm screwed that way. Tracy, yeah, please, somebody. October and Halloween bees. I don't think I would have to raise the money fast. if I want to be there by Halloween. It's almost October. No, I didn't lose my passport. I have my passport. We need to dip into Nora's retirement fund. X-ray specs. Hope this helps get your butt home, darling. Thank you, X-ray specs. I appreciate you. Thank you. I wasn't an atheist. I mean, I believe in God. Ask your family to get a bank loan and you can pay them. My family is not going to help me like that. Trust me. With money, they're not going to help me.
Okay, guys, so we've made it about 40 minutes through this first live stream. But we're at about an hour and 15 minutes here. I don't want to make you guys sit and listen to me blabber on for extreme amounts of time over this. So I think this is probably going to end up being a 3-part episode. And every time we come back, we'll go ahead and still check her PayPal, and all of that kind of stuff. Um, but it is 6:30. That means I need to go fix my husband dinner and I need to cook him a lunch for tomorrow. So whether I like it or not, it is time for me to bow out for this one. So I will see you guys tomorrow. We will be here tomorrow with the second part, because we are almost halfway through this first stream. So, but until I see you guys tomorrow, I'm going to remind you that I need you to behave yourselves and be good. But if you can't, do it right and make me proud, and then post it online on here so we can sit and talk about it. Um, but until then, I will see you guys later. Bye.